BigBear.AI is up 7% in the last week. It's up 83% in the last month and 162% in the last 3 months. So BigBear.AI is trending up. It's looking bullish. Now this week it has pulled back into potentially short-term support at 690. So the question now is, can it push higher and break this level up here of around 870 and push towards that $10 target? Let's take a look. I'd like to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/DavidB for the 5 best stocks to buy now. Use my special link to get $200 off their epic annual subscription. Now, if you find value in my analysis of BigBear.AI stock today or other stocks on my channel, you may also find value in my email newsletter. If you subscribe, I'll share with you professional trading tips to help you make more profit trading stocks. Link in the description below. Check it out. So BigBear.AI stock is looking bullish right now. It's looking as if it wants to push higher. If it can break through 870 resistance, it's looking good for that $10 target and beyond. We can see, looking on the daily chart for BigBear, since this significant price low around about $2.30 in April 2025, this AI stock has been trending up, creating consecutive higher highs and higher lows as it's been trending up gradually. And you can see I've added a trend line here from that trough of 235 and also including this significant price trough here of around 370. Price for BigBear was trending up gradually in this area here, in this time zone here, and it broke out in the 3rd week of June. We can see here from this price point here around about 370. This is where BigBear really broke out. The buyers came in and bought up the stock. And you can see we had some aggressive buying, taking the price from this level down here around 370 all the way up to this significant peak around $8.70. Now, since that price peak of 870, BigBear was sold off. It did fall back in to find support around about $6. And you can see I marked that line up here of $6. And since that time, it has moved back up, trying to challenge this level of 870 once again. And we can see here, last Friday, it had a go. In that session, it did peak around about $8.50. So it tried to get close to this previous peak here, but couldn't quite reach it. And what we found, if I zoom in, what we found this week is on Monday, there was a big red reversal bar. So sellers took control this week on the Monday and they started selling BigBear. So it was sold off on the Monday around to about $7.36. And that selling did continue on Tuesday. But you can see we've got this hammer candle here. If I switch to candlesticks, you can see we've got that hammer just indicating the open and the close at the same level. Sellers had a really good go. They came in, they tried to push the price all the way down. It did find support around about $6.88. You can see we've got this hammer candle here, this hammer bar. Price opened here about 740. It was sold off into that low of $6.90 before buyers came back in. And it ended up closing on Tuesday around about where it opened. So it does show that sellers had a really good go on Tuesday. They did sell it down to the low of 690, but it ended up closing back up around 737. It didn't close high, it closed just under the open, but it does show there is short-term support for BigBear at this low here of 690. And that's positive because the last time we hit a low, it was down here at around about $6. So new peak up here, sell off, $6 trough, another buying surge, and now there's this new higher low, this higher trough of 690. And you can see I've added a short-term trend line on the daily chart just to capture, this low down here of 370 and this most recent trough here of 690. It does show short term that as BigBear is moving up, each time it pulls back, it's creating that higher base, that higher trough, showing that it is bullish and wants to move higher. So you can see from this time point, we've got a big surge moving up to that peak. Then it was sold off. It created this higher base at $6. It tried again to break through this level here of around about 870, got rejected, it got sold off this week, and now it looks as if this level here is support for Big Bear short term. So the question now is, are buyers going to come back in this week to close out the week and perhaps take Big Bear closer up towards this level once again, to have a third attempt at breaking this key level of 870? That's the big question. On the daily chart, 876 does look like a key level for Big Bear. You can see price action has tried to break through on 2 occasions and got rejected. So if Big Bear can clear this level, there's a good chance it's going to move towards this other key level of $10 up here. So we've got $10, we've got this 870 level, we've also got this $6 level marked up as well, these 3 blue lines, these key price levels for Big Bear. So underneath $6 for reference, you've also got key levels of 460 corresponding to the peak here, and underneath that level you've got this key trough down here of around about 230, where price started to move up and create this short to medium term uptrend. In between, you've also got a level here around about 382 corresponding to the peak here and the peak here. A lot of price action through here before it took off in the end of June to create this accelerated uptrend, trying to break through this level up here. So right now on the daily chart, the key levels are there. We can see Big Bear is obviously well above $6, and it's trying to push through this level of 870 and break into this zone here and potentially reach that $10 target. Zooming in on the daily chart, looking at this week's price action. Last Friday, it was sold off in that last session. And then on the Monday, price opened high. It was traded down Monday and Tuesday to create this new low at around about 680. Now, in the last few days, buyers have come back in. They took it up to around 795 on the Wednesday session. And then on Thursday session, you can see here, sellers had a good go again. They've pushed the price down. It does look as if there's daily support around 770, but it's yet to see how this is going to play out for the week. Will sellers be stronger in the last session this week and potentially take the price down a bit further, maybe to 740? I wouldn't want to see price go lower than obviously this low here. I wouldn't want to see that happen. If price on Friday takes out this low here, it would indicate that sellers are in control, and there's a risk that price might fall further next week back down to that $6 support. So if the bulls are going to push this higher, I want to see a strong day on Friday for Big Bear, with potentially price moving up to this area around here, potentially towards this level here of 830, 840. That would be a good finish to the week. Over on the weekly chart, looking at the slightly bigger picture, you can see so far, at the moment, with one trading day to go, this week for Big Bear is looking bearish. Not really bearish, but sellers are more in control this week. So I think Friday needs to be a strong session for the buyers, for this level here to move up and potentially create a sort of hammer candle on that week, just showing that there is a price support down here at 690, and that's the limit for the price to go lower. And it would indicate perhaps next week we could have more bullish price action. But you can see overall on the weekly price action, this is a strong level of resistance for Big Bear. It's tried a couple of times now to break through this level of 870, 865, and it's failed. So we need to see a strong close above this level to show buyers are in control and they want to take it to that $10 level. Now, next earnings report for BigBear.AI is scheduled for around about 18 days time, so just under 3 weeks. It's probably best to wait now for a position with Big Bear. It's always high risk to buy around earnings. You don't know how the earnings are going to report. Now, of course, this company is not profitable yet, so the expectation is, it's going to post losses again, but those losses might be tighter than the last quarter, and they're working towards profitability as they gain more contracts. But the report can go either way. It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be neutral. It all depends how investors react to the news, whether they think there's value in that report and they see that there's good potential for the company based on the financials, or they don't think anything at all and they just keep buying it regardless. It all depends on how investors react to the news. But I think if you're trying to trade this stock, it's a high risk time to buy now, and there's not much that reward on offer short term. You can see, obviously, if price breaks through this level here, it's more than likely going to hit resistance here at $10. So there's not that much of a reward if you took a position. So for example, if you were to enter on confirmation above that level of 870 and then place a 20% stop loss, or perhaps under that 690 low, your risk to reward is only 0.82. So it's just not worth the risk to your money for that potential upside of 18%. So it's probably best now to wait till after the earnings report just to see what price action does. If it's really positive, there's a chance that Big Bear could smash through this level and jump to $10. After that time, you could then think about perhaps targeting the next level of price action, which would be this price peak up here, around about $16. So then, that potentially got an upside of above this level here, it'd be about 83%. So that could be like a medium-term trade. So sit tight now, wait for earnings. Obviously, if you're in it already, be careful and manage the downside. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you still bullish on Big Bear? Do you think it can break this level tomorrow or perhaps next week? If it can, I think there's more upside for this trending AI stock. Thanks for watching.